I actually, for TCPA, I actually like to usually do 100% higher. The reason is the campaigns that I try to set up for those types of channels, so search and shopping, I really want a very aggressive position. I want first click. I want first considered. I want high placement. I want high search intent. I want the best of the best of the best. So I will pay for that. I'm spending on it in the term of, I think it's going to cause a lot of good influx of traffic to the site, but be maybe 20, 30, 40% of the overall strategy. So it is very aggressive. It's just not the only thing I'm spending on. Okie dokie, let's get to some questions. We have a lot. I left myself a little bit more time, 35 minutes, because there is a ton. So we're going to go through each of these, and I'm going to go, not rapid fire, but I'm going to go as quickly as possible to not waste anybody's time. All right. Started YouTube demand gen with a target cost per acquisition of $30. Month 1 CPA was 14. Month 2 CPA increased by 250%. Landing page dropped 18% to a 5%, and lead quality went down by 70%, but clicks and views stayed the same. Continued. Part 2. Only change made was budget increased by 20%. It's been 3 weeks. The CPA hasn't come back down, and some days it won't spend full budget. Yeah. So what the YouTube demand gen, I'm imagining that your YouTube demand gen has potentially other assets to it, or is it a YouTube only asset? I have not been able to create what I tried last week with just YouTube only. Got an update last week though that it is coming to YouTube only, but that doesn't start till March. Actually, I'll just do a public service announcement. 7 days ago, Google released a statement saying that Google Display Network that is inside of the YouTube video action campaigns has been added as a channel or as an inventory to the YouTube channel with inside of Performance Max, Demand Gen. So now we're basically taking video partners, attaching it to YouTube, putting YouTube, attach it in Demand Gen, and they're just basically throwing everything in and duct taping it, super gluing it, and saying, we hope this doesn't explode. That's what Google's strategy is now. It's horrible. Anyway, because of that though, that's the next iteration of demand gen is you will be able to choose which network. It'll be YouTube only or Gmail only or display only, potentially at the ad group, or feed only. So you'll be able to kind of select what kind of channels and fill it with the assets that those are on. When I ran it a few times, I spent a few hundred, like a little over $500,000 on demand gen. From everything that I could find, it really started to veer off course when shorts started to overshow. Shorts have a 5% view engaged time to conversion. Horizontal has 10 seconds. So if you watch a short for 5 seconds and you convert anyway, it counts as a conversion for YouTube Shorts. Horizontal, if you watch it for 10 seconds and then convert anyway, it counts as a view engaged viewed for horizontal. We saw that demand gen used a ton of shorts, over attributed by 100%. 1,000 leads went to 2,000 leads in Google. We still only had 1,000 leads, like it literally doubled. It started to show everybody else that it was attracting and simply showing that too. That's one bad part that we saw. The next bad thing is when GSP, Gmail sponsored promotions or Gmail ads, once that inventory and activity spiked up, we saw our performance crash. One of the ways that we identified that GSP was actually the thing that's getting the most amount of attention is the clicks were increasing, but my website traffic was flat. Google sponsored promotions or Gmail sponsored promotions will charge you a cost per click if someone opens up the email, but does not click on the actual ad in the email to get to the site. So your spend goes up, your clicks go up. Kind of what you're saying here is landing page dropped 18% to 5%. I would say that's conversion rate, lead quality down, but clicks and views stayed the same. That kind of seems more often like what we're seeing. If clicks and views are staying the same, you might be getting more engaged views and more Gmail clicks, and they are junky. So just be mindful of that is something that could happen when you're talking about demand gen increasing budgets, is saying, hey, I don't really know of anybody else in this channel, so let's explore. Let's take, display traffic and go see if there's anybody over there. Let's go see Gmail traffic and go see if there's anybody over there. If your CPC decreased, that's also a really good indicator that it went the wrong way. So if CPC went down, cheaper network, cheaper inventory, cheaper traffic, crappier results. That's the reason why. That's one of the reasons why I'm holding off on any other demand gen rollouts until demand gen next month is integrated with YouTube, so that I can say, let's start a demand gen campaign. Shut off GSP, shut off the feed, shut off the video partner. So basically go back to YouTube itself. That was when our campaigns were of the best performance. So that's just something to be mindful of there. Next part. Yep, perfect. For low TROAS standard shopping campaigns, is having a higher ratio for click and view assisted conversions a good strategy? If you have a higher ratio, kind of yes. The only problem is people that are clicking and then getting a secondary click is kind of, or like seeing an ad and then convert it anyway. I have a hard time with. I don't think there's a lot of view through conversions in shopping. There is, but if you think about when you shop, the last time you typed in like, blue jeans, name all the brands that were there. It's like, no, you know that there was a brand there and you convert anyway. So the click and view assisted conversions, it's kind of like saying like I saw a shopping ad and then they converted, and like that's an impression. They can't actually count that as a view through conversion, so they count it like assist. I would stress test it. I have not found much consistency in the way of like actual good performance in that. Stress test it, see if it's your style. If you do like it, then roll with it. But my opinion was I'm holding off on that just for right now. I think that the assisted conversions are a good indicator, but it's not something that I would actually bet money on. That's actually very real, if that helps. All right. Next. Job to freedom. Perfect. I know. I think the last time we were always saying that you might be doing an affiliate, but maybe not. What's your way of finding a sweet spot for TCPA? Giving enough room to be aggressive while keeping it profitable and reasonable. 20% higher than actual CPA or 2x actual CPA. I actually, for TCPA, I actually like to usually do 100% higher. The reason is the campaigns that I try to set up for those types of channels, so search and shopping, I really want a very aggressive position. I want first click. I want first considered. I want high placement. I want high search intent. I want the best of the best of the best. So I will pay for that, or I'll set up a campaign to pay for that. And I will pay for that as a crazy, like, this is all I'm spending on. I'm crossing my fingers and it's super inefficient. I hope it works. I'm spending on it in the term of, I think it's going to cause a lot of good influx of traffic to the site, but be maybe 20, 30, 40% of the overall strategy. So it is very aggressive. It's just not the only thing I'm spending on, if that helps and if that makes sense. What that allows me to do is allows me to adjust the level of good, high quality, high intent traffic by the budget and not what it's able to attribute as a sale. If you think about search and shopping specifically, search and shopping are first click pretty much only. It's first click only for the most part. You're very rarely going to get a time period where you're like, hey, I'm going to get the first, I'm going to get the second, I'm going to get the third. It's going to be amazing. And I'm going to be able to get all of my ROAS right in this kind of one click. That doesn't really happen, but that's how you're measuring your TCPA. So here's job to freedom. I would ask you this, and sometimes smaller campaigns, less time lag, completely fine. But what you have to consider is you're saying this is the first time anybody has ever been to my website that hasn't known about me. I expect that to convert now and at a $30 CPA, because maybe you want 20. So it's 30% higher. The problem is Google's going to say, okay, I know 6 people that can actually fit that criteria. And that is also going to limit the amount of spend. If you say, I want this to be very aggressive, I want it to bid high, I don't want you to focus on anything, and I want you to expand as much as possible, that low TROAS is okay. If I only need to make like my 20% of my money back at TROAS at 20%, or if I can go up to $500 before I have to track conversion. Okay, so it gives you a little bit more leeway for that to grow. But a low TROAS or a high TCPA, usually 40%, 50% TROAS, and maybe 200% for TCPA, it leaves enough room for it to breathe but still learn. So it compounds the success and capitalizes on it. So the compounding success essentially means that if I had a good search term and it's getting conversions, Google will automatically just give more money to it. Manual bidding will not do that. Max clicks will not do that. Target impression share will not do that. So the good quality conversions that are coming in, Google funds a little bit more money to them. It doesn't restrict it like a high TROAS or a low TCPA does, but it allows more funds to be delivered to there. So it optimizes fast. So it allows it to be flexible. It allows it to learn. It doesn't put too much restriction on a high ceiling and a low floor, but it will still start to optimize and deliver the bulk majority of what's working automatically to those good search terms. Kind of like you doing negatives, or kind of like you going in there and raising bids. So I usually find that I will very rarely go above a 50% TROAS on shopping, and I'll very rarely go below 100% over the TCPA that I want to achieve. But I will use other means to get there. Is it my feed? Is it my ad? Is it my search terms? Is it my keyword strategy? Like, it's very arrogant for me to be like, no, everything else is perfectly dialed in. Google is just not working hard enough. Do it, bidding strategy. Like, we got to do our checks and balances just to make sure. So always be mindful of, hey, it may not be Google. It may be something else that we have to do to increase that conversion rate.